There's something weird going on with home prices in Colorado Springs, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about here. In terms of home prices, I think we might have hit our plateau. Here's the example, and this is from a listing agent who's got a house for sale listed at just over $900,000. We have a new listing on the market. However, we've had no showings and no shows at the open houses last 2 weeks. Why? He's got a bunch of improvements, property's got additions. Why has it been sitting on market? And is this your experience or is this just his experience? Well, meanwhile, another example I have, I'm on a private Facebook group and one of my neighbors is a title officer. And I had posted some info about what was going on in the local real estate market. And so she asks, what's the average days on market for the area? Last month at my title company, we had a huge month of contracts and closings. This month, we have seen a significant drop. Listings that should have had multiple offers are not even getting showings. Is this something that is going on and changing the market? Are home prices in Colorado Springs about to hit a plateau or even worse, a drop? All right, I'm going to give you what you asked for, which is the home prices in Colorado Springs. Right now, we're in June 9th is when I'm recording this. The average sales price is $526,688. Median sales price is $477,450. Now, that median sales price has gone up a little bit. The average sales price has stayed about where it's been. But if we switch over to chart form, you can see what that looks like visually. Now, that's important because what I've been telling people is that home prices in Colorado Springs have been relatively the same since the beginning of 2022. That's what this chart is showing you right now, is where home prices have trended. And you can see the green line is the average sales price. Blue line is the median sales price. You can see during the summer months, those prices go up a little bit. During the winter months, they come down a little bit. That's seasonal. That's normal. That's to be expected. So now what we have been seeing for this year, this summer of 2024, so far, is you can see the winter months we dipped down in January 2024 in this graph, and now we're starting to come back up. We've hit a good peak in May of 2024, and we're only a third of the way into June, so it's a bit too early to say what home prices might do, if they're going to continue to rise or if we're going to hit that flat. And from those two examples I have given you, home prices in Colorado Springs may be at the flat line now. We may not be seeing more increase. And why is that? And I'm not the only one who's seeing this or saying this. This is an article from Fortune, so this is a nationwide thing where people are starting to see a trend of there's not as many buyers in the market. At least they're not showing up. They're not going to the open houses. They're not writing offers. Here's another chart that's going to be helpful in conveying what I'm talking about. The green line is the number of active listings in Colorado Springs, and the blue line is the number of sales. Now, again, we're looking from the beginning of 2022 all the way to the present. So here, the number of listings, we've got our seasonal ups and downs. So right now we're in seasonal up for the summertime. That's fine. The blue line is the number of sales. So again, we have some seasonal ups and downs in terms of number of sales. And then where it looks like that blue line drops down sharply is how many sales we've had for June so far. Now, again, we're only a third of the way into June. So that line is going to not look that sharp and it's going to come up a bit. But what that looks like in terms of actual sales, we've had 180 property sales in Colorado Springs. And for the past several months, we've had 800, 700, 700, 600 sales, home sales per month. And we would likely be seeing that again. So as we're at 200, a third of the way into the month, we might hit 600 sales. So we could conceivably still hit that 7 or 800 home sales for June. So are we actually in a slump and our home price is actually going to come down from this? The other thing I want you to pay attention to with this same chart is the other set of numbers that is next to the number of sales here. It's the number of active listings. So how many properties are going up for sale in Colorado Springs versus how many are selling? Because the bottom line is that homes are selling every day here, and they're selling every day nationwide. It's just, it's slowed down now. Homes are higher priced. Interest rates are higher. It's a lot harder for a lot of people to buy property right now, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. And the numbers are very clear on what's going on. Fewer home sales because there's fewer people who can buy those homes, but they're still there, and there is still inventory for sale. There's still June. We've got just as much for sale as we did in July, or I'm sorry, as we did in May last month. So we may indeed have more for sale this month than we have had in the past several months. So there is stuff available for sale. Buyers that I've had kind of sitting on the sidelines are starting to find stuff that they like because there's more available right now. Keep in mind, for home prices in Colorado Springs to fall, there would have to be such a shortage of buyers who are just not willing to do anything, not willing to purchase anything, that homes just sit there and they just sit on the market for months and months. Then, yes, of course, many of those are going to be forced to either go back off market and rent or take some price cut in order to sell them. And right now, as of the end of May, we had 2.6 months worth of home inventory in Colorado Springs. What that means is that if people stopped listing their houses and we just had nothing else going on the market, what is left? How long would it take what is left to sell? It would take 2.6 months. And to give you an idea, you need 4 to 6 months to have a balanced market between buyers and sellers. 4 to 6 months worth of homes on the market to have enough options for people to pick from and feel comfortable, like I've looked through everything and I really like this one. I feel like I got a good deal. And you're not being hounded on either side. You don't have necessarily multiple offer situations going on. You don't have homes flying off the market, but you don't have homes sitting on the market for 6, 9, 12 months either. It's a balanced market. And so at 2.5 months or 2.6 months worth of inventory, we're still in a seller's market. Properties are still moving relatively quickly, and the ones that are move-in ready, the ones that are priced to sell, they're not shooting for the moon. Those are the ones that are getting the multiple offers more likely, that are selling and going under contract much more quickly. And one more clue about home prices in Colorado Springs and what they're doing, where they're going to go, is we look at the showing time data. I do anyway. And that is what a majority of agents will request their appointments, their showing appointments through. This service is Showing Time. And it has reports that you can look at, which will tell you things like how many showings on average are properties getting in what particular price point. So broadly, just for Colorado Springs in general, we get about properties in general get about 1 to 3 showings a week on average in this current market. So right now, in this past most recent week, that has been about the same. It's been about 1 to 3, again, depending on the price point here, but on average, it's about 1 to 3 showings a week for property. So if you're getting more than that, congratulations. It's a very popular property and it will likely go under contract quickly. If you're not getting any showings, then that may indicate that the property is priced too high. But if we're looking at, like, take that example I brought up at the beginning where they've got a $900,000 house and I think it was 80908, and no showings, nobody showing up at the open house. What's going on? At that price point, you should be getting 1.94 showings per week on average for that price point. So, yeah, it could be perhaps priced too high, but it's not my listing, so I can't say. But what I can say is that, let's take this off. Home prices in Colorado Springs are not likely going to go anywhere. They're not going to crash. They are not likely going to continue to spike, or I should say, like we had in 2020, where you had home prices that spiked up during that year. I don't think we're going to see that again. We're going to likely see a little bit of continued gain in home prices throughout the rest of this summer, so July, August, and as we get into the end of August, into September, and the rest of the year, you'll start to see those prices slide back down as a seasonal trend and as they do every year. That's not going to be a huge thing either way. So there's nothing big that's happening that is going to create or cause home prices to either go up or down drastically from here. The interest rates are at what, just over 7%, depending on, what they're doing and who announces what. But the Fed, last I checked, is not going to be at a maximum. They might do two rate cuts in this year. And that's best case scenario. Like worst case scenario, they might actually do a rate hike or two. But I'm anticipating them doing nothing because the economy has not adjusted to what they are wanting to see in order to change what they're doing. So what that means for us in the housing market and in real estate is that the interest rates are going to stay about where they're at, and then people have to make their decision. Am I okay with buying a house in this particular market with this particular interest rate? If I sell my house here and go buy something somewhere else, can I afford to buy in that market? Or is this interest rate going to kill me? And so you have a lot of people who are locked in with their 2 or 3 or 4% interest rate for a house that they bought a few years ago, and they're very unlikely to move because that's a really great interest rate, unless there is something forcing you to move, some big, motive that is causing the move. There's not really a reason for you to do that. And so inventory, we're expecting to continue for existing single family homes to continue, well, any existing property to continue to remain tight as it has been here in Colorado Springs. Again, we're only at 2.5 months worth of inventory. There are things for sale, but it's not as much as we would like is to see in a balanced market. And if you're not aware, there was a huge hailstorm that happened in Denver just like a week ago. It was like the biggest hailstorm in 35 years. And that kind of stuff happens down here in Colorado Springs too. We're in hail season now, technically, so we could get something like that. And when that happens, and if your car is outside and it gets damaged, you've got hail damage, it's a big hassle to have your insurance either send an adjuster out or you take it to somewhere and get an adjuster to look at it. If you go to kjsautohailrepair.com, that's a company, it's a local company here in Colorado Springs that I'm partnered with, and that's what they do. They work with your insurance company and they repair your hail damage on your vehicle. So if you go to kjsautohailrepair.com, there's a contact page on there with a drop-down form. My name is in there. Just click it, and when it says who referred you, there. If you do that, you will get $100 back at the end of your repair process. My name is Kevin James Bond. I am an 8-year real estate agent here in Colorado Springs, and this is what I do, helping people who buy and sell their property in the Colorado Springs area. And if that's you and you're interested in learning more from me, reach out to me, and I would be happy to help you with your questions and get you the information that you need. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.